Hello lovely, thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video I'm going to be continuing on with my collection series. Today we're going to be looking at all my cream cheek products, so cream bronzers, highlighters, blushes, liquid products as well. This is quite a big section, so it is going to be a longer video, probably longer than any of the others in this series so far. This isn't going to be a declutter, as I have mentioned in other videos. This is just me going through, showing you what I've got, taking an inventory and talking about the products a little bit as I go through. I do have two makeup collections. I have one here and at home and one at the caravan, and the collection that I'm sharing with you is solely my at home collection. I am planning, when I'm next at the caravan, to do a series similar to this on my caravan makeup collection, which will be much shorter because it's much smaller. As I say, this isn't a declutter, but if I do go through and I find something that I decide that I just don't want to keep anymore, or it's expired or something like that, then I will pass it on to my mum, or if it needs to be thrown away, I will throw it away. But I am sort of sworn off doing declutters for the last couple of years. I'm trying more to use what I've got, get to know the products that I've got, and declutter that way. So if I'm using something and I'm not keen on it while I'm using it, then I'll just get rid of it there and then, rather than doing like a dedicated declutter. So if you would like to have a nosy into my makeup collection and see what kind of cream and liquid products I've got, I'm also sharing my Made by Mitchell collection in this video. But please do let me know if you would like a video specifically dedicated to like brand specific collections. So like, I've got quite a large Made by Mitchell collection. If you would like to see everything I've got from Made by Mitchell in one video, and then maybe everything that I've got from MAC in one video, then I would really like to do that. I think that would be quite fun to sort of collect everything together from one particular brand and share it that way. I did put that on my community tabs as a poll, and people did vote for these longer form full collection videos. But if you would like to see the brand specific ones as well, then I'm happy to film that. If you like this kind of content, if you like makeup, if you like somebody who is not a professional, not in a professional setup, it's just a girl and her phone and her excessive amount of makeup and an unhealthy obsession with talking about makeup, then please do subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely love to have you here. Leave me a like if you like this kind of content, and leave me a comment in the comment section if you've got any favourites amongst my collection, or if if there's anything that you've tried that you really didn't like. And also let me know in the comment section about those brand specific videos if you would like to see them. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining me today, and let's get on with the video. Right, so this is the collection video that I have been putting off. It is the one area of my makeup collection, like in the drawers, that really does overwhelm me. Over the last couple of years it seems to have exploded, and collecting all the products for this video, I have realised that if I didn't have an everyday makeup drawer and like what I call like my go makeup bag, I keep a makeup bag ready, sort of within reach of my bed. So if I'm ill but I need to get a bit of makeup on or something, I've got the products that I need to put a full face on. If I hadn't got that makeup in those other places, it wouldn't all fit in the drawer. You can see how this is overflowing, and this is just cream and liquid products. So just to explain this situation here, this is my Made by Mitchell bag, and this contains my Made by Mitchell collection. I do have quite a large Mitchell collection now. Okay, so as with my previous videos, I am trying to work with natural lighting. It's a very hot day today, but the sun is coming from behind the clouds, then disappearing, so hopefully this is okay. So for cream bronzers and liquid bronzers, I don't have a huge amount, but I definitely have more than I need, more than I am really comfortable with. For liquid bronzers, I've got the Be Perfect Bronze Boost. That is more of a traditional like face bronzing gel that you would sort of put on before makeup to sort of even you out if you've got fake tan on your body but not on your face. But I have mixed it with primers and foundations before. It's just, it is quite dark. The Revolution bronzing drops, they are really lovely. I have got quite a bit of use out of them so far. I got the lightest shade available, and they are much lighter than the Be Perfect ones. There's a lovely little bit of radiance to them. I really like mixing them in with like a matte cream bronzer, or in with a primer to give me a bit more of a golden glow. I've also mixed it in with moisturiser as well. Then I've got next to that the Doll Beauty contour wand. This is the Gimme Contour, and mine is in the shade medium. This is a very strong bronzer. You will have seen me use this recently in a Get Ready With Me. It's very, very warm toned, almost yellow based, yellow orange based, and it really does pack a punch. I do really like this, but it's going to take me forever to go through this because it's such a pigmented product. Then one of my favourites is the Hollywood Contour Wand from the Hollywood Contour Wand from Charlotte Tilbury. I've got mine in the shade Fair Medium. This is a lovely contour product. It has like a red base to it, and it's just, the formula of this is really beautiful. It blends out so easily on the skin, giving a very seamless effect. It's quite a sheer product, so it can be built up. When you first apply it to the skin, it's one of those where you sort of go, that's strong, that's dark. You know, I am very fair skinned, but it works because it blends so easily. I don't have a problem with it looking too much or anything. Then another favourite is the Chanel bronzer. This is the Universal Tan de Chanel. This is the original one. I got mine before they updated the formula and added a new shade. I think it was one or two new shades that they added. But I really do love this product. It's one of those that it's foolproof. It's a nice, light, buildable pigment. The colour gives just a nice sort of like golden bronze to the skin. It's really beautiful. One that I find very similar to that is the Rose Ink Cream Bronzer, and I've got mine in the shade Parrot K. This, like the Chanel, is quite light in tone, and it just gives that nice like golden glow to the skin. It's not overly pigmented, it's more on the dry side as the Chanel is as well. It's not one of those super emollient cream bronzers, and it just blends so beautifully into the skin. This was one of my favorite rose ink products that I've tried. Okay, and then on to I would say these are the cream bronzers that actually started it all. The Fenty Cheeks Out cream bronzers. These were sort of like my first foray into like cream products, these and the cream blushes from the same line. I started off with Butter Biscuit, which is the one that I have definitely used the most. You can see I've got a nice healthy dip going in there. But then when I was fake tanning, I picked up the shade Macchiato. I haven't actually used this one yet on my skin. This is just where the products sweat a little bit. This one is more of like a tan bronze on me than Butter Biscuit. I would really like to pick up the shade Amber for a you know, a very cool toned, almost grey contour. But these are still some of my favourites in my collection. You know, they've been around a while now, but I think the formula still, you know, shines as one of the better ones out there. Then I have one that took me by surprise, the Danessa Myricks Balm Contour. This is in the shade Light 2, and this reminds me a lot of the Fenty cream bronzers. This is like a gel consistency. It's super easy to blend. The colour's really good. It's like a Bronzer kind of colour on me. And because of the light, I'm struggling to sort of show you the shade properly. It's one of those like the Fenty that it's so easy to blend, so easy to work with. It's very buildable, but it is, you know, it's decent pigment on first application, whereas like the the rose ink and the Chanel, you kind of have to build them up. But this was, like I say, it really surprised me. You can see I've used it quite a lot. I really do rate this one. Then one that I love but I'm not fully familiar with, this is the Nars Cream Bronzer in the shade Laguna 01. So this was when they bought them back out and bought some, you know, more shades out finally in the Laguna line. This one again is sort of a similar tone to the Rose Ink and the Chanel, where it's a lighter bronze that has more of a like a yellowy undertone to it. Because I have very fair skin that is neutral but borders on being cool, because I have a lot of redness in my skin, I do prefer a more pinky toned bronzer. But because I've recently found out that my colour season, like for colour analysis, is a true autumn, a warm autumn. So that means that my skin overall has more of a warm glow to it. And I've always wondered that, like, even though my skin is fair, leaning cool, I can pull off very warm bronzers. And when I recently had a foundation match done in store, the MAC artist said you are bang on neutral. So I'm not 100% sure on my undertones at the moment. I've always thought I was leaning cool because of the pink in my skin. I get rosacea and things like that. But I can carry off these very yellow, warm toned bronzers. But up until a couple of months ago, I really did favour the cooler toned, more pinky toned bronzers. Hope that makes sense as to why I've got kind of like a variation of shades. One that is a favourite and I've just had in a project pan is the Revolution Cream Bronzer. Mine is in the shade Light. This is a really beautiful formula for such a cheap product. Very similar to the Fenty bronzer, very similar to the Danessa Myricks bronzer. It's the difference with this one is it is incredibly pigmented. One dip into the pan can do both cheeks and my forehead. I have, as I said, I've had this in a project. I've probably used this product 20-30 times since I had it, and it barely looks touched, and that's because you need such a small amount of this. I think this is £5, so for that price you really can't go wrong. And I have noticed that this shows up in a lot of beauty influencers' favourites, and it's for good reason, because you get such good bang for your buck with that one. Then some more budget options. I have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is the original one, and this is in the shade Honey Drip. So this is one of the, this isn't the lightest shade. I think it's one or two up from the lightest shade, possibly. Yes, it is. This one is slightly more warm toned, more of a like a true bronze. You can see I've used a lot of this as well. I really love these e.l.f. Putty blushes. They're a drier formula, again, like the Chanel, like the Rose Ink. They can be built up really nicely. My favourite out of the blushes and the bronzers is the Luminous formula. And in the Luminous, I really should have done this the other way around. I got the very lightest cool tone shade in Vacay Mood, and what I would like to do eventually is pick up the cool toned in the original Putty Bronzer, and then the more warm toned version in the Luminous, because you know I want more of a matte contour shade but a more radiant bronzer, and I've sort of done it the other way around. But I can wear this on its own as a bronzer. It, you know, it does, with my very fair skin, it does work. It looks absolutely fine. And then a similar product to those is the MUA Bronze. I have two of these. I've got one here and one at the caravan. I liked them so much that I picked up one to have here. They did like a shade extension, so I picked up one of the new shades. This is the shade Macchiato. These are £5, and you get a lot of product and a really sophisticated formula as well. Very pigmented, blends really beautifully on the skin, can be built up. You know, it's not one of those that's like bam, pigment, what am I going to do, a bit like the Revolution. This is a really lovely formula, and it smells really beautiful. It smells like you know, like a tropical like holiday sort of scent. Okay, and now on to stick bronzers. So I have 3 from Nude Sticks. The most traditional bronzing kind of shade that I have is Bondi Bay. I always do this. This is a very neutral bronzy tone. Really lovely formula, really easy to work with, and a really good colour because it's such a neutral one. It's really easy to blend into the skin. And then I also purchased these two, which are actually called the all over face bronze colour. So they do consider these bronzers, but they're not sort of your typical bronzer tone. I am struggling with this natural daylight to show you the colours, but I have Beach Babe, which is this very rosy toned bronzer. What I'll do is actually swatch these so you can see what I mean. these for me sort of double as a blush and a bronzer. And what I like doing with these is I'll go in with, say, Bondi Bay to sculpt out the face, and then I'll add this to sort of the higher points where I would naturally catch the sun, or in my case burn, because I don't tan, and that it gives that sort of like sunburn look, like, you know, you've had a little bit too much sun, or it just makes you look super healthy. You know, it's that kind of look. And then I've got this one that is more of a like terracotta kind of a shade. It's got a bit more brown to it, and you would say that this one is more of your sort of like traditional sort of bronzy tone, but you can see it has a lot of red to it. If I swatch Bondi Bay, you can see the difference in the three products. So you can see that, like, Bondi Bay is definitely your more traditional bronzer, and then these two have got a lot more red to them, a lot more richness to them, and I really do love combining this and one of these together. And then my newest cream bronzer stick is the Kiko Sculpting Touch. This is the creamy stick contour. I've recently, I actually placed the order a few weeks ago, but it took quite a long time to get to me. It only came a couple of days ago. I did a small-ish Kiko order because I haven't tried anything from the brand for years. I used to have some of their water shadows, and I've still got one of them left, but that's all I've really ever tried from the brand. So I heard a lot of good things about this stick contour because of the tone of it. It's a very sort of bordering on cool tone, neutral, and it's supposed to be incredibly easy to blend, you know, really easy to work with. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. I got mine in the shade 200. I think they've got 3 shades of that. And then I've also got the Fenty Beauty matchstick in the shade Amber Suede. So this was a newer colour they launched within the last couple of years. They had Amber, which was a super like cool, almost grey toned. And then it went up to like Butter Biscuit, which was a very yellow toned bronzer. So they bought this one out, which was kind of a nice happy medium between the two. And when they introduced these new shades, they also changed the formula of the matchsticks. They used to be incredibly dry, and this one is much more creamier and easy to work with. I haven't used this as much as I would like to have by now, but it is one of, you know, one that I could see being a favourite with more use. So I have 19 cream and liquid bronzers, and my top 5 out of these are really easy. So I've got the Chanel Universal Tan de Chanel, the Rose Ink, the Fenty cream bronzers, the Revolution cream bronzer, and then I would say the Danessa Myricks Balm Contour. So those are my top 5 out of my cream and liquid bronzers. I will have one on your honourable mention in the Charlotte Tilbury. This is one that I don't use as much as I should, but when I do, I'm always kind of blown away at how beautiful it is. So it does need to get an honourable mention, but the others are definitely my top 5. Okay, so this is all my cream blushes. so solid creams rather than liquids. This blush part is going to take a while, so I'm going to go through as quick as I possibly can. So I'm going to start over here with some of my absolute favourites. These are the Melt Cream Blush Lights, and I absolutely love this formula. I really wish that they would expand the shade range a bit. I know that they did a couple of pinks, but I would love to see some brighter, you know, more summery pops of colour, whereas they're quite rich and sort of like bronzy, the tones that they've got in the line. So I have got 4, obviously. The first one I have is Sundown. This is one that I can wear as both a blush and a bronzer. It's like a red toned amber with a gold reflect to it. I do love a blush that has some radiance to it, you know, a little bit of luminosity, not just from it being a cream, but like it has a bit of a pearl running through. And they do a matte version and the pearl in these, and I went for all the like the shimmery ones. This one is the shade Polished, which I have been working on in like a project pan this year. It barely looks touched because it's so super pigmented. They describe this as a sparkling grapefruit, and I think that is a really great sort of description for it. It's a very blood orange kind of tone with, again, like a gold sheen running through it. Then I've got Golden Hour, which is the lightest of them. You can see this one I have used the most. This is like a peach with a gold running through it. So easy to wear. The thing I love most about this formula is that they blend on top of powder really beautifully with like no problems whatsoever. And then the last one I have is Lynx, which is, again, I can use this as sort of like a blush bronzer hybrid, but it's lighter than Sundown. This is a sort of a light peachy bronze with a strong gold pigment running through it, and I've just rolled this one into a project as well. Then I have my 2 MAC Glow Play blushes. I find that so difficult to say. These are a really cool formula. They're like a bouncy, like putty formula. You can see where I've sort of like pushed my brush into them. They are extremely buildable in pigment. You know, they can go on super light, so you've barely got a kiss of colour, or they can be built up to something much stronger. They've recently extended the shade range and done some deeper, more autumnal tones, and I really want to pick some of them up. The shade Pinch of Marrakesh really is calling my name, but I've put myself on another no buy for at least a month, so I won't be purchasing anything for a while. But yeah, I really like this one. This one is the shade Totally Synced, which is like a cool toned lavender, and a really unusual shade within my collection. Then I've got 2 from Doll Beauty. These are a very similar formula to the Fenty cream blushes, and I got these in, you know, very bright blue toned pinks. So I've got the shade Beach Please, which, as you can see, is almost a neon blue toned pink. And then I've got the shade Let's Get Wavy, which is a sort of a more toned down version, still bordering on neon, but it has a little bit more peach to that one. Then I've got the ones that probably started it all, as I said, with the bronzers. These are the Fenty Cheeks Out cream bronzers. I've got the shades Rose Latte. This one is probably my favourite one out of all the ones that I have. It's like a brown, like a Rose Latte is the perfect shade name for it, because it's like a coffee colour with like a pinkiness to it. Really beautiful. Again, can't really capture the colour perfectly in this lighting. If I put my artificial lights on, it's going to bleach everything out because of how bright it is, but it's so bright naturally that it's the camera can't pick up the colours properly. Then we've got Bikini Martini, which is that was very on trend last year, that very pale blue tone pink, and this is the perfect shade for that. You can see I've used this one quite a lot. Then I've got Cool Berry, which is another favourite because it is such an unusual shade. It is a very cool toned berry, but it has a gold pigment, like a gold luminosity running through it. Really beautiful. And then finally I have Strawberry Drip, which is a very apt colour name. It's like a strawberry red pink. I have had those for a long time, since they first came out, but mine don't smell funny. They still perform exactly the same. I had no issues with them whatsoever. But I am conscious of getting as much use out of them as possible this year, before they do turn on me, because I have heard of some people's, expiring, going bad, but mine are absolutely fine still. So then we've got the Rose Ink. These are stunning. I only have, I thought I had 4 of these. I must have been mistaken, but I've got the shades Dahlia, Foxglove, and Azalea. I'm sure I've got another one of these somewhere. I'm going to have to check on my makeup inventory because I thought I had the shade Ophelia as well. So I'm not 100% sure whether I've dreamt that or where it could possibly be, because they're all stored together. But let me just go through these anyway. So we've got the shade Azalea, which is like a deeper raspberry pink. This is such an interesting formula. They look like fabric in the pan, but once you touch a brush to them or put your finger in there, they are so incredibly creamy. They're very pigmented, but they blend really nicely, and they do set down. So you don't, if you're not one to wear powders or like putting a powder blush over a cream, these do set down and they stick around for a long time. Then I've got the shade Foxglove, which is like a nudie peach. And then I've got the shade Dahlia, which is a deeper berry toned red. I haven't actually used this one. I'm 100% sure I've got another one of these somewhere. Then we've got my e.l.f. Luminous Putty blushes. I have got the original plain putty formula, but I took all those to the caravan because the luminous ones are definitely my favourite. Again, these are a drier formula, that the pigment can be built up nicely. But I have quite a few of the darker shades, and they're not, you don't dip your brush in, put them to the skin, and it's like, oh God, what am I going to do now? It's going to blend out really muddy, etc. These blend out really beautifully. I've got the shades St. Bart's, which is like a rosy pink. Then I've got the shade Barbados, which is one of my favorites. It's like a rich terracotta orange with a gold reflect to it. Then I've got the shade Isla del Sol, which is a bright tangerine orange. Then we've got the shade Belize, which is a peach. And then the one that I've probably used the most is the shade MUA, which is this like cooler toned mauve with a sort of I think it's like a champagne-y sort of reflect to it. It's not gold, it's not silver, and this works with every single look you do. It's such a natural everyday colour. And then one that I only used recently but kind of fell in love with, Colourpop call this a Super Shock blush, but it's, to me, this is definitely a highlighter, but I do keep it with my blushes. It's one that I use as a blush topper. It does have quite a lot of peachy pink to it. It's like a duochrome that goes between peach, and then the pearl that's in it is like a bright fuchsia pink. It's so pretty on the skin. You will have seen me use this in a Get Ready With Me. It gives that like pink toned highlighter, but like a warm pink rather than like an icy pink. It's really, really beautiful. And the Super Shock formula from Colourpop for the cheap products, I find just so easy to work with. You can use them under your foundation for like underpainting. On top, you can use your fingers, a brush, a sponge. They're just super versatile. Then I've got my Nars the Multiple in the shade Orgasm. This was one that was recently decluttered back to me from my mom. Now this is years old. You know, I don't really like to think how old this is, but it doesn't smell like anything at all. It's got no growths or weird texture to it or anything. It goes on the skin beautifully, blends beautifully. It's one that, you know, I didn't use it when I had it, which was why I gave it to my mum. But since she decluttered it back to me, I've used it a few times and I really, really do love it. This one is going to be coming into a project soon. Then I've got the Nude Sticks in the shade Nude Peach. This is just a very typical light peach toned blush. Again, I do love the Nude Sticks formula. I find them really easy to work with. This is the one that I've used the most. This is the shade, done it again, Bareback, which is like a cool toned pink mauve, like the elf blush in the shade Maui. This one just goes with absolutely everything because it's such a good neutral. Then I have my 3 matchsticks. These are the original formula that are more on the dry side, but because they're a blush, that drier formula kind of works for them. They do have a lot of radiance to them. I've got the shade Pink Lemonade, Chili Mango and Ridic, and these are just stunning. They're such fun colours. They make me feel very summery, and like I say, these are just super easy to work with. I've heard people say these are really difficult to work with and they don't like the matchsticks formula, but in these blushes, all of the matchsticks that I have in my collection I absolutely love and have no issues with. I like the fact that these work on top of powder or under, and they just blend really easily with a brush, sponge, your fingers. They're beautiful. Then I have two from Huda Beauty. These are really nice. I wish she would bring out some more colours of these because I think she's only got 4 in the line. These are the cheeky tints. I've got the shade Coral Cutie, which is a beautiful bright coral with sort of a bit of radiance to it. And then my favourite, I just love this tone of blush, this like rich terracotta. This is the shade Rebel Red. And since finding out that I am a warm autumn, well, so I think anyway, I haven't paid for a proper colour analysis. I've realised why I'm so drawn to these shades and why these shades seem to look so nice on my skin, because they fit perfectly within my seasonal colour palette. And then I have 3 of the blush balms from Made by Mitchell. Now these are the same formula as in his curve cases. So they are like a solid cream formula, but they are in the shades that he does in the blushes. His sort of like more famous blushes. He has recently expanded this line, but these were from the original few that he did. So I've got the shade Cold Heart, which is a lovely blue-based pink. I've got Can't Cope with Coral, which is a light peachy coral. And the shade Strawberry Cream, which is a very pale pink. I haven't got round to using this one yet. But Strawberry Cream in the blush, the liquid blush, is one of my favourites. They are the curve cases and the blush balms, they're the same formula as I said, and it's one of my favourite formulas. The curve cases you will see when I do my face palette video, but they are some of my absolute favourite products that I've bought over the last couple of years. The formula of them is just incredible, and they are no different. He's recently brought out bronzing sticks in the same formula and the same component, and I would really love some of those because it's just such an easy to use blendable formula, but being in the stick form, it's a bit more convenient than in a palette. Okay, and I knew I had another rose ink blusher. I just found this when I was about to put these back. So this is the shade Ophelia, which is a light neutral pink. Okay, so I thought I'd do these first and then I'll do the Made by Mitchell ones on their own because they're going to take up the most space. So I have 6 of the P. Louise Cheek of It liquid blushes. These are the ones with the like puffball applicator. These are a nice formula, but I definitely prefer my Made by Mitchell ones. I find them a little bit easier to work with. I really don't like the puffball dispenser method. I find that product does dry up on them and it sometimes gets difficult to get the product out. But I also don't, you can take them off, but then you'd have to sort of squeeze it out onto the back of the hand, and I don't love that either. So I do love the colours that I've got. So I've got 6 of the very bluey bright baby pink ones. So I've got the shade Cutie Cake, which is like a light peachy pink. Then I've got the shade Lolly Dolly, which is a bright, almost neon pale pink. Then we've got the Pink Party, which is like again almost neon but a little bit more muted. Then I have the shade Bon Bon Baby, which is a very pale peachy pink. I've got the shade Melon Mood, which is more of a coral pink. And then I've got a very light blue tone pink in the shade Legally Pink. You can see I was having a pink moment. Then I have 2 of the Aldi blushes. These are the Lacura Aldi blushes. They were a special buy a few weeks ago, and they're sort of supposed to be dupes of the Rare Beauty. and they are very similar, but I do find the Rare Beauty ones much more pigmented. These are actually easier to work with. They blend a little bit easier than the Rare Beauty ones, because the Rare Beauty ones are so incredibly pigmented. It's basically like pure pigment. You can go overboard very quickly, where I found these ones much easier to work with. And I've got the shade Pink Lace and Orchid Pink. Orchid Pink is much more of a mauve tone, and will be beautiful in the cooler months. Then we've got one of the Beauty Bay liquid blushes. This is in the shade Bonbon, and this one is that very pale, you know, girly blue toned pink. Really nice formula, similar to the Rare Beauty, but like the Aldi ones, a bit easier to blend than the Rare Beauty ones. I only have one Rare Beauty blush, and I don't think I would pick up another one, simply for the fact that they're hard to get hold of because they're always sold out, but also you need the tiniest amount. You can get mini versions of them now, which I think is a great idea, but you need the smallest amount of these. And I haven't even got one of the vibrant darker tones. I've got the shade Hope, which is a light neutral pink, and I liked it, but I wasn't like utterly blown away like a lot of people seem to be. It's possibly to do with the fact that I do prefer a cream blush rather than a liquid. The Made by Mitchell blushes are the exception to that rule, because I just love that formula. Then I've got two of the Hydra Bright cream blushes. These are the Charlotte Tilbury dupes from Makeup Revolution. I've got the peach and the pink, and these are really nice, really super glowy, not super strong in colour, but they give like a nice sheen to the cheeks with a hint of colour. I've got one of these in my rotation at the moment, and they are really nice, really lovely, and easy to work with. And then the Revolution blush drops. These are like the dupe of the Drunk Elephant Rosy Light drops, and these are the shade Rosy Pink. And I like using these sort of mixed in with, say, like one of my matte Made by Mitchell blushes, or say the Aldi blushes, a few drops of this just to give a little bit of pink radiance. I bought all three of this line, so they did a few blushes, a few highlights, and then the blush drops. And I bought like one of each, and I've been really impressed with these. These are really lovely, and I haven't felt the need to try like the Elf or the De Bronzes or anything like that, because they, more than suffice for me. Okay, and now my babies, my Made by Mitchell blushes, and these I definitely have quite a lot of, and I could quite happily buy a lot more. These are one of my absolute favourite formula. For a time, I could not do my makeup without using a blush in the look somewhere. Now, my camera is not picking up these colours well at all. The top three are actually very bright red corals, and it's just not picking that up on camera. And then some of these are almost neon in tone as well. So what I'm going to do is just go through the colours. So starting from the top, we've got the shade Burnt Buns, Peach Beach, which is one that I use quite a lot. It's a very easy to, throw onto any look, because it's a nice toasty but neutral peach. Then we've got the shade Cherry on top, which is a straight up red. I like mixing this in with other shades. That is what I love about the blushes, because they are a makeup liquid pigment. You can mix them and match them to get your right shade. You can mix like liquid highlighters into them and stuff like that. I really love these, and I like mixing the cherry on top with one of the blush lights to give it sort of more of a glow. And you just need like one dot on each cheek, and that is enough, but they just blend so easily. Then I've got the shade Nancy, which is from the Holly Fling collection, which is a really unusual like marigold orange, really beautiful. Then I've got the shade Pumpkin Patch, which again is a nice toasty peach that goes with pretty much anything. Then I've got Darling Peach, which again, very neutral peach, almost like a nude, and goes with pretty much everything. These are more sort of nudie peaches. So I've got Teach and Peach, which is a light, milky, neutral peach. Then we've got Making Mauves, which is a light, neutral mauve tone. The sun is now coming back out. And now we've got My Darling, which I think was possibly another Holly Flynn one. Yeah, I think it was. And that's a very light peachy pink, really pretty, easy to use. And then Bella Blossom, which is in a project at the moment. This one you would have seen me use in my recent Get Ready With Me. I mixed it with my MAC lip crayon on my cheeks. This is just a very light, like milky peachy pink, really pretty and easy to use. Similar to that, but more pink than peach, is Peony Passion. Another very light milky one, but really beautiful and easy to use. And then I have all my pinks. So we've got Posy Rosy, which is one of my favorites out of all of these. It's just a really easy one to use, but to add like a bit of a pink rosy glow to the cheeks. Then we have Sweet Cheeks, which is a very famous one. This is much more of a true pink in real life than it's showing up on camera. No, it's not sort of showing true to colour, unfortunately, on the camera. But that is a nice bright but milky pink. Then we have Party Pink, which is just a straight up bright pink, almost neon. Then we've got some of the newer ones. We've got Jellyfish, which is a lighter pink than Party Pink, but has more blue tone in it as well, but still very bright. Then we've got Pink Frosting, which is, this is Strawberry Cream, which is a very famous one, and this is a newer version, Pink Frosting. And Pink Frosting has a bit more blue in it than Strawberry Cream. They're both very pale and milky, but there are different undertones. And then if I show you Candy Quartz, which is another one, Candy Quartz still has a little bit more pink, bright pink to it than Strawberry Cream, but it's not as blue toned as Pink Frosting. Pink Frosting almost has like a lavender hue to it. And then finally we've got Cold Heart, which is a light blue toned pink. Okay, so I think I've counted correctly. I have 65 cream and liquid blushes, and it's going to be so tough choosing my top ones, but here we go. So again, with my 1 to 5s, it's not in any particular order. I can't rank them from 1 being the best and 5 being the worst. I love all of them equally in the top 5. So we're going to definitely say Made by Mitchell blushes, the Melt blush lights, the Elf Luminous Putty blushes, the Nude Sticks cream blushes, that's 4, and I think I'm going to have to give it to the Fenty cream blushes because they sort of started it all. So those are my top 5. Okay, so I'm starting with my Made by Mitchell liquid blushes this time. Now these are Blush Light, Blush Glaze and Blush Glow. So these are all like liquid highlights. Now a lot of these, all of the top row, I don't use really on my face. I have used them occasionally on my face, but these top ones are basically pure glitter suspended in liquid. I actually like using them on the eyes. So like if anybody's heard of Drip Drip, these are all that sort of formula where they have much chunkier pieces of sparkle in. It's not like sharp chunks of like glitter, but very visible shimmer and glitter particles. These ones are the ones I use on my face. These are like the blush glaze and the blush glow, and these are like blush lights on the top, and these are more of like a traditional liquid highlight. They just give sort of like a glow, some granted more than others. These ones that have more colour to them, these are I think they're the blush glow, and these are my absolute favourites. I wished he would do more shades in these because these just give that like sheen to the cheeks and to the high points of the face. And then I've got Fairy Kitten Sprinkles and Frosty Feels from his winter collection, and these are again more of a smaller particle, but they are like iridescent and like opalescent shades, so they give much more of an impact. So I'll go through the ones that I have on the top for you. So the first one is the shade Iceberg from his winter collection, and this one is a blue sparkle. Then we've got Watch Your Mouth, which is a pure like yellow gold sparkle. We have the shade Gloaming from the Holly Flynn collection. This is like a duochrome pink to gold, really pretty. Then we've got the shade Blizzard, which again is from the winter collection. It's like a pink blue sort of duochrome in that one. Then we've got the shade Warm Soul, which is a bronze. We've got the shade Swiss Kiss, which is like an icy silver with a hint of green to it. Then we've got Drip Drip. I actually have 2 Drip Drips as I got one in a mystery bag. I will be taking one of these to the caravan. I just keep forgetting. So yeah, 2 Drip Drips. Then I've got Love You Miss, which is like a nude sort of rosy bronze. And then I've got Clear as Day and Ice Ice Baby. Ice Ice Baby is like pure champagne glitter in like a white base. It looks like pure like starlight as like speckled your face. I'd use this in a get ready with me over like the Christmas period, and I did actually use it on my face, and it was a lot. There was a lot of sparkle in it. It was fun at Christmas, but it would be one that again, like I say, I'd stick to using on my eyes. And then Clear as Day is a really cool colour. It's like a pale pink with a hint of lavender and a gold duochrome. It's so pretty, and my camera's not going to pick up. What you're seeing is a lot of the gold, but in person it looks very pink as well. And then, like I say, the ones that I actually use on my face, we've got Fairy Kitten, which is a beautiful pinky gold duochrome. We've got Sprinkles, which again is a pinky lavender duochrome. Then we've got Frosty Feels, which is like a turquoisey blue duochrome. And then we've got these ones, which are like traditional liquid highlights. So we've got Pearl Twist, which has like a nudie pink to it. We've got Picking Petals, which again has like a nudie pink to it, but has a bit more pink than Pearl Twist. Then we've got Prosecco Pop and Gold Rinse. Both of these are more yellowy toned. One is less so than the other. And then we've got Holly Pop from the Holly Fling collection, which is very, very similar to Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand from Charlotte Tilbury. And then this one I have like a double-ended one. It's got the liquid highlighter on one end and then a sparkly lip gloss on the other. And this one is the shade Creamy Bellini, and it's got like a nice like light champagne bronze liquid highlight. Okay, and finally for the cream and liquid highlights, most of these are cream. Again, some of these I don't actually use on my face. I actually keep them with my single eyeshadows because they're more of like a shimmery lid topper. And the ones I use in that way are the two Profusion Casper highlights. These are like a Super Shock formula. They're like a spongy sort of creamy texture, and they are duochrome. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that in the camera. So this one is like a bluey pink duochrome in the shade Ghosting You. And then I've got Fabulous, which is more of a straight up pink toned highlight. Then I've got my Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb in the shade How Many Carrots. This is a very well-known highlight, and again, I know a lot of people do tend to use this on the eyes because it is literally like a shimmer bomb. It's just pure shimmer across the cheeks. And then I also use on my eyes this Profusion highlighter, which is the same formula as the Casper ones, and again same formula as the Colourpop Super Shock shadows. And this one is like a more chunky pink duochrome highlighter. The other one from that collection, this was from the like Halloween collection, I think, the candlelight, it was like a ritual collection. I actually do use on my face this goldy one. This one is really, really stunning. I had this in a project recently, and as you can see, I used quite a bit of it. Really, really pretty. Then I've got my only Super Shock highlight in the shade Flexitarian. I think everybody knows this one. Again, I had this in a project recently, and I only had it in to use it 3 times, but I kept using it once I'd met that goal because I just love this so much. Then I've got MAC Seaside, which is one of the cream colour bases. This is a very old product. You can see it's sweating because it's so hot in here at the moment, and I've had it out to the elements. This one I absolutely love. This one's currently in a project at the moment. Then I have my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beauty Light one. This is the original. I've got my Vive Skin Dew, my Revolution Bright Light Glow Drops in the shade Star Dew Gold. I love adding this to my foundation, primer or to moisturiser just to give a light, subtle golden glow to the skin. These are newer to me. These are the NYX Jumbo Sticks. So these are the face sticks. You can use them sort of anywhere on the face. I've got like a white one and a more like champagne-y toned one. Then I have my 3 Rose Ink highlighters. I love these. These are absolutely stunning. So I've got the shade Brilliant, Opalescent, which is more pink, and then Glancing, which is, oh, that's not very good, is it? My mirror and compact have broken. So yeah, that's the shade Glancing, which is more peach. I will have to sort that one out. Then the Rose Ink ones are a bit more of a drier formula, and they do set down. They're really beautiful. Then I've got 2 old favourites, the Dominique Cosmetics Skin Glosses. So I've got the shade Sunset Glow, which is like a pinky peach, and the shade Glossed Peach, which is a golden peach. These are stunning. These don't fully set down. They do leave that like face gloss effect, but it's not anything over the top too sticky or anything like that. It's a similar formula to the Danessa Myricks Dew Wet Balm in the shade Rose Water, which is a beautiful transparent but has like a pinky glow to it. It's really beautiful, this is. Then I've got my sort of stick type products. So I've got Fenty Beauty Pearl, which is one of my favorites. This looks wet on the skin. It doesn't really have a lot of base pigment to it. It just has like a sort of a pearlescent glow to it, but it is absolutely stunning. It's so easy to work with, not greasy or anything like that. It's stunning. A similar product to that is the Chanel Universal Balm Essential in the shade Transparent. As you can see, this just looks like a clear like stick of serum or something. It has very little pigment to it. It just adds a sort of a healthy glow to the skin. But once it's blended in, it isn't like overly sticky or uncomfortable. It just gives a lovely healthy glow. Again, really beautiful product. Then I have both of my Nude Sticks highlighters. I've got the shade Illuminati, which is similar to Fenty Pearl, but this has more of an iridescence to it. It's like transparent, but it has like a pinky lavender kind of a shift to it. It's really beautiful. I've got this one in a project at the moment. And then Bubbly Baby, which is just a very universal champagne highlighter. And the Nudies Glow formula is really nice because it's not overly sticky. It does sort of work perfectly fine under powder, on top of powder. You know, it doesn't disturb what's underneath. It's a lovely product. And then I've got my Colourpop light sticks. These I don't give nearly enough love. I need to roll these into a project soon. So I've got the shades Earth, Ueno and Star Bright. Earth is more of a cooler toned pink. Then Ueno is like a warmer champagne, and then Star Bright is like a straight up icy champagne. It's like the stick version of Flexitarian. And then I have my 2 Aldi Lacura brand cream liquid highlighters. These are the Stay Illuminated, and these are dupes of the Rare Beauty liquid luminizers. And I've got the shade Radiant Rose and Champagne. These are stunning. They were so cheap, as all Aldi products are, but they are just so easy to work with, really pretty on the skin. And then finally, I have my Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in the shade Tiara. This is a universal light champagne. It's such a beautiful product, really easy to work with, goes with every look. Again, you could underpaint with this, you could mix a bit into your foundation, you could put it on top of powder, under powder. It's a really beautiful product, and a little bit of this goes a long way. Okay, and cream and liquid highlights, I have 48, sorry. I'd put my rose ink one aside to fix. And for top 5, I'm gonna have to go rose ink, the Fenty Pearl, MAC Seaside, I think my Made by Mitchell blush glazes, the ones I've got, like Picking Petals, Pearl Twist, Gold Rinse, and Prosecco Pop and Holly Pop. Those are my favourites rather than the more chunky ones. And then I think I'm going to have to give it to I think Colourpop Flexitarian, just because it's such a classic that's stood the test of time, and it's a really beautiful formula. I would like to pick up more of the Super Shock highlights eventually, because I just love the formula. But this is one area of my collection that I really do think I have too much, because you use such a small amount of highlight each time, that this is all going to go off before I get to use it. So, but that's for another day. That's everything from my cream and liquid cheek product. And phew, that was a long video, wasn't it? Absolutely love anybody who has stayed and watched it through to the end. If you have, please leave me a blue heart emoji or any blue emoji to show that you have got through to the end. Is there anything within my top 5s that you totally disagree with, or do you share some of the same favourites as I have? My next video is going to be on my face palettes, and then it's going to be powder, blushes, bronzers, highlights. The biggie is going to be the eyeshadow palettes. I am more than likely going to split that into 2 sections. And I'm thinking of doing, actually, let me know what you would like to see. Would you like to see like a video where I've got like indie and more affordable, and then a video of higher end and luxury? Or should I do it in alphabetic order, split it alphabetically? What do you think? How should I do it? Because at the moment there's no rhyme or reason to how they're organised, so I will be taking them out and reorganising them anyway. If you can hear a noise, Ray is sitting behind the camera and he is licking my legs. He's doing his self-soothing, ready to go to sleep. So it is quite late at night now that I'm filming this, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. As I say, I really appreciate anybody who stuck around to the end of the video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a like and a comment again if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, lovely.